Welcome to the discussion. Today, we're exploring two fascinating papers that delve into the intersection of technology, gender identity, and AI. The first paper examines how transgender and gender-nonconforming TGNC individuals use voice changers in social virtual reality, VR, while the second investigates gender bias in open language generation, OLG models. What are some of the key takeaways from the first paper on voice changers in social VR?
The first paper reveals that voice changers are a powerful tool for TGNC users in social VR. They help reduce harassment, alleviate voice dysphoria, and even serve as a springboard for real-world voice training. It's a fascinating look at how technology can support gender expression and identity exploration in a virtual space.
That's really interesting. So these voice changers aren't just about masking their voice, but also about a kind of digital trial run for real life transitions.
Exactly. Many participants found that successfully passing as their preferred gender in VR, thanks to the voice changer, boosted their confidence and motivated them to pursue more permanent changes in the real world. It's a form of safe experimentation.
But the paper also highlights some challenges, right? What were some of the technical hurdles TGNC users faced with the voice changing technology?
Yes, the technology isn't perfect. Participants reported difficulties with complex settings, audio artifacts that could reveal their true voices, and the high cost of some of the more advanced software. There's definitely room for improvement in terms of usability and accessibility.
So the second paper shifts gears to look at AI and gender bias. What's the main focus of this research?
This paper focuses on how large language models, LLMs, can perpetuate harmful gender biases, particularly against transgender and non-binary TGNB individuals. They created a data set, Tango, to evaluate LLMs on two key aspects: misgendering and harmful responses to gender disclosure.
That sounds crucial. What were some of the key findings regarding misgendering in the LLMs?
The study found that the LLMs struggled significantly with TGMB pronouns, often misgendering individuals who used singular they or neopronouns. Interestingly, the models performed much better with binary pronouns, he, she. This highlights a bias towards the gender binary ingrained in the model's training data.
So the models are essentially reflecting existing societal biases.
Precisely. The research underscores how AI systems can inadvertently amplify existing societal inequalities if not carefully designed and evaluated.
And what about the model's responses to gender disclosures? Did the study find any concerning patterns there?
Yes, the study found that disclosures of TGNB identities often triggered more toxic language from the LLMs compared to disclosures of binary genders. This points to a need for more inclusive training data and more sophisticated methods for detecting and mitigating bias in these models.
It seems like both papers highlight the importance of centering the voices and experiences of TGNC and TGNB individuals in the design and development of technology.
Absolutely. Both studies emphasize the need for inclusive design practices that consider the unique challenges and needs of marginalized groups. Without this focus, technology can inadvertently perpetuate harm.
The first paper suggests that voice changers, despite their limitations, can be a valuable tool for self-discovery and empowerment for TGNC individuals in social VR. How does this relate to the findings of the second paper on AI bias?
It's a crucial connection. The first paper shows how technology can be used to create more inclusive spaces for TGNC individuals, while the second highlights how AI, if not carefully developed, can undermine those efforts. Both papers underscore the need for a more nuanced understanding of gender and identity in the design of technology.
The second paper introduced the Tango dataset. What makes this dataset unique and valuable for future research on AI bias?
Tango is unique because it's specifically designed to evaluate LLMs on harms relevant to the TGNB community. It includes prompts focusing on misgendering and responses to gender disclosures, providing a more comprehensive assessment of bias than many existing datasets.
Both papers offer valuable insights into the complexities of gender and technology. What are some of the key implications for future research and development?
Future research needs to focus on developing more inclusive datasets, improving the usability and accessibility of voice-changing technology, and creating more sophisticated methods for detecting and mitigating bias in LLMs. Crucially, this work needs to be done in close collaboration with TGNC and TGNB communities.
So it's not just about technical solutions, but also about ethical considerations and social responsibility.
Exactly. Building truly inclusive technology requires a multifaceted approach that considers both the technical and social dimensions of the problem.
Let's delve a little deeper into the first paper. The researchers found that voice changers could act as a springboard, roadblock, or crutch for voice training. Can you elaborate on these different roles?
A springboard refers to how the voice changer can motivate TGNC individuals to pursue voice training by providing a taste of what their desired voice might sound like. A roadblock arises when the ease of using a voice changer discourages the effort required for voice training. Finally, a crutch describes the potential for over-reliance on the voice changer, hindering the development of natural vocal skills.
That's a nuanced perspective. It highlights the complex relationship between technology and personal agency in the context of gender transition. Turning to the second paper, the researchers found that LLMs exhibited a generic masculine bias. What does that mean in practice?
The generic masculine bias refers to the tendency of LLMs to default to masculine pronouns and language when the gender of a referent is unspecified or ambiguous. This reflects a broader societal bias that often assumes maleness as the default.
The second paper also explored the impact of different phrasing in gender disclosures. What were the key findings there?
They found that more dynamic phrasing, such as came out as, often resulted in less toxic responses from the LLMs compared to static phrasing like is. However, even with dynamic phrasing, TGNB identities still elicited more toxic responses than binary genders.
This suggests that even subtle linguistic choices can have a significant impact on how AI systems perceive and respond to gender identity.
Precisely. The study highlights the importance of considering the nuances of language and the social context in which it's used when developing AI systems.
Both papers emphasize the need for more research and collaboration with TGNC and TGNB communities. What are some specific steps that could be taken to address the issues raised?
Creating more inclusive datasets, improving the usability of voice-changing technology, and developing more sophisticated bias detection and mitigation techniques are all crucial. But equally important is fostering ongoing dialogue and collaboration with the communities most affected by these biases.
The first paper's findings on voice changers in social VR offer a unique perspective on the potential of technology to support gender expression and identity exploration. How can this understanding inform the development of more inclusive AI systems?
Understanding the positive and negative aspects of voice changers can inform the design of AI systems that are more sensitive to the nuances of gender identity and expression. For example, AI systems could be trained to recognize and respond appropriately to different pronouns and forms of gender disclosure.
The second paper's use of the Perspective API to measure toxicity raises some interesting points. Are there limitations to using such a tool for assessing bias in AI?
Yes, relying solely on automated toxicity detection tools like the Perspective API can be problematic. These tools have their own biases and limitations and may not fully capture the complexities of harmful language, especially in the context of gender identity. Human evaluation and community feedback are essential for a more comprehensive assessment.
So a combination of technical solutions and human oversight is needed to create truly inclusive AI systems.
Absolutely. It's a collaborative effort that requires expertise from various fields, including computer science, linguistics, and gender studies, along with the active participation of the communities most affected by AI bias.